Okay, so guys, welcome. As I was saying, um, I'm just going to remind you as to why UCC might be for you. Okay, in terms of employability, we're the top third level institution in Ireland in terms of getting you employed after your degree or getting you back into further education. So that might include doing a master's, going on to do a PhD, and the sky's the limit. Okay. In terms of where we're ranked globally within universities, we're ranked in the 1.1 of universities worldwide. Okay, we have won a lot of prizes for our student experience over the years, and we're really proud of that. In terms of sustainability, guys, there's a huge emphasis on it here in UCC, and in fact, we were the first university in the world to get our green flag. The SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, form a huge part of our ethos and what we're about, and you will become that kind of sustainable global citizen when you come here to UCC. In terms of civic and community engagement, there's a huge emphasis on equality, diversity and inclusion, and we also have things like our University of Sanctuary, and you become part of the community of UCC and the surrounding area when you come to us here at UCC. Okay. In terms of research, we are a research-led institution. When you come to UCC, you become that researcher. You will come up with your own way of critically thinking and within your academic work, and you'll be becoming part of that community, which is ranked very highly worldwide. In terms of UCC, some statistics for you, you'll be joining 4,000 plus students when you come to UCC next year. We have almost 4,000 students from over 100 different countries around the world. So to me, when I went to university, the spice of life for me was meeting people from all over the world, seeing how we're similar, seeing how we're different, but also how we can really work together. Okay. In terms of societies, guys, we've over 100 societies. So there is a society for everybody, where whether it's something like a charity society or it's something like your own country society, there'll be something there for you. We even do things like the Pop Culture Society, the Simpsons Society, the Harry Potter Society. So there really is something for everybody. In terms of clubs, sports, we have a huge emphasis on sports. We have an amazing arena and UCC Sports Arena and gym that you have access to via your fees. And that kind of caters from everything from kind of trampolining to GAA to rugby, soccer, you name it, we have it. Okay. What makes us different from other universities, guys, is we've got things like our graduate attributes program. So I would have been delighted I worked in this program for over 2 years. It actually hones in on your kind of soft skills. It cultivates those soft skills. So what that does really, guys, is that everybody on this call could get the top marks in their degree, but what makes them different? Are they good communicators? Are they good team players? It's something that we really nurture as you come into university, through university, and as you go out into the workplace. So we will help you to cultivate those natural values and attributes that you have to go out into the real world. Okay. Again, when you come to us here at UCC, you become that proud, critical and independent creative thinker. That's the big difference really from kind of second level education to third level education. You really are thinking for yourself, backing up your theory with other people's research. Okay. And a fun fact, we have our first professor of mathematics here is George Boole. He's a fantastically famous man, and we're very proud of him. And he's the father of the information age. Why he's the father of the information age, guys, is that he came up with a Boolean algebra theory that forms the basis of all the technology that we use. So it's possible that without him, perhaps we wouldn't be even able to make this call to each other. Okay, and we'll just carry on. So for those of you who haven't been to UCC campus, it's just a kind of an aerial shot here as to how close things actually are. Okay, so you're a stone's throw from the city, you're about 15 minutes walk from the city. or you can grab a bus in. Where am I at the moment? So I am in the quad at the moment, so I'm around the hub. So I'm in number 6, so you kind of know exactly where I am at the moment. And I'm very, very close to everything within campus. The furthest away would be a number 9 there, which would be the University Hospital of Cork, and you're possibly be doing clinical placement out here if you are doing something like medicine or nursing, occupational therapy, what have you. And that's just a quick bus ride away. So you can see everything's very, very closely aligned together. Okay. In terms of our campus and the history of the campus, so it was founded as one of the Queen's Colleges in 1845. So there's 3 Queen's Colleges that were founded back then. It was Galway and it's Belfast. So you've got 42 acres there of wooded ground. It's a beautiful campus. You really can get out into nature and see all the sustainability projects that we've got going on. Look at what our green campus has done. It really is beautiful. If you don't have the chance to actually come to campus and you want to check out the different buildings and facilities that we have here in UCC, we have a series of 360 VR campus experience videos on YouTube. They are fantastic. You see every inch of every kind of building on campus. It gives you kind of snippets of what certain courses are like or the history of certain courses that we have here in UCC. And it is truly a fantastic resource, especially if you're not able to come to campus, okay? And you can use that QR code there. But again, after this call, I'll send you on all the slides and you can get access to it that way too, okay? In terms of the campus itself, like I was saying, people who come here love to explore the campus. We have a dedicated visitors centre here in UCC as well. A lot of the folks on the call are actually from Ireland and they may have not come to campus, but we have great tours for you guys as prospective students here at UCC on Wednesdays and Saturdays at 3 p.m. So it's a real opportunity for you to come look at the campus, see if you like it, see if it's for you, check out what Cork City is like. It really is a fab little city. It's friendly, it's quaint, and you'll really, really enjoy the day out. Again, with teaching and learning, guys, just a few of the different facilities we have in UCC. We have a dedicated student hub, which is a recently launched building, so it's only a couple of years old, and it's for you, the students. A lot of your student services will live within the student hub, and you'll have many different areas that you can book and take advantage of for different things like projects. If you're working together on projects within groups within your course, you can book project rooms. Then we have our hub atrium, so you can chill out, grab a cup of coffee. Then we have things like our VR lounge that's in our library. And again, we have state-of-the-art lab facilities there in the College of Medicine and Health, okay? Again, we've got collaborative spaces in the Boole Library, and we've got a series of little study pods all over campus where you can just kind of get away from the hustle and bustle, chill out, take a meeting, whatever it might be. They're great little spots for you to kind of just get away from everything, okay? Then again, we have our radio station. It's state of the art. It's fantastic, and we also have a podcast studio and a green screen space. So we have loads of different things for you to kind of take advantage of when you come to UCC in September of this year or September of the following years to come, okay? It's just great to have a look at what's there for you. Again, we were talking about equality, diversity and inclusion at UCC. So it's kind of at the heart of what we do at UCC. We want everyone to feel like they're welcome, that they're included, that they're part of the UCC tribe. We've got lots of different initiatives like Athena Swan, and we've got student networks for things like proud allyship and advocacy. And we really want you to feel like you're included and can speak up if things are difficult for you in any way. So in UCC, we have some fabulous members of staff. So we've got our paws at UCC. So you can see the lovely dogs that we have here. So these are canine companions. They live with a selection of our fabulous staff. And what they do is, I think everybody can agree that when you see a dog, they put a smile on your face, it makes you feel at ease. And by these dogs hanging out with these different staff members and you visiting different student support staff, it just kind of makes you feel more at ease just straight away. So you'll also see these lovely doggos at different events throughout the year. I think this year they were learning a bit of Gaeilge, which is Irish, our native language here in Ireland. So they really do, you'll see them everywhere, okay? There's a woman I want to point out. She's a very important woman for you if you're coming to us in the next couple of years. So this woman here is Noreen Deedy. She is your first year she's your first year officer in UCC. So what Noreen does is that she will look after you if you run into any trouble in your first year in UCC. Okay, so as your coordinator, she will help figure out any answers to any issues you might have. She's a fantastic person to help you if you're struggling maybe with academic work. She'll guide you in the right direction. Maybe if you feel like you've picked the wrong course for some reason, Noreen is the person to talk to, and you'll meet her at orientation. And I was looking at the dates for orientation at UCC. So they're the 4th, 5th and 6th of September this year. So you'll be meeting her around that time, okay? So in terms of the 4 colleges, again, you're probably all very aware of the different colleges we have in UCC, but they're color coded here for you just to ease your mind. So that you see in the purple here, we have the College of Arts, Celtic Studies and Social Sciences. We have the College of Business and Law there in the red. We have the School of Science, Engineering and Food Sciences there in the green, and we have the College of Medicine and Health there in the light blue. Okay. Again, like we were saying, there's going to be people in different meetings in different rooms that will help you if you have any questions in from any of the courses within these colleges. Okay, so within the College of Arts, Celtic Studies and Social Sciences, you're probably all very aware of the different courses that we provide here in UCC, 60 plus undergraduate degrees throughout the whole of the university. So in the purple here, if you go to the room that says College of Arts, Celtic Studies and Social Sciences, you'll meet Selena and you'll meet Philip, and they'll answer any of the questions that you have. Type it into the questions and answer box and they'll get an answer to you straight away. Okay. Again, we've got the College of Business and Law here. Ian will be providing you with guidance within this room on anything to do with commerce, business, law, whatever it might be, and you can contact him within that room. Again, I will pop the schedule link into the group again so that you know where you're going, okay? In terms of the STEM side of the house, guys, that's science, engineering and food science. Orla will help you out and she'll answer any question you might have within any of these courses. And then with the College of Medicine and Health, there'll be Anne and there'll be Garode, and they'll be in that room to answer any questions you have in regard to any of the law and medicine or the medicine and health courses, okay? And finally, Kate, if you are interested in getting any answers to any questions regarding accommodation, Kate will be there for you to answer any questions. Okay, so again, we're kind of at that change of mind period of the CAO process, guys. And I just wanted to remind you guys that we have an amazing free online course called Nurturing Bright Futures for people who are in 2nd level, who are just kind of transitioning to that 3rd level process. And what this course entails is you kind of get to know yourself first of all. You'll kind of take a few tests and what kind of person you might be, and then you'll be getting into the crux of what careers might suit you, what industries might suit you. You're going into decision-making styles, your learning styles, your transition then to higher education. It'll give you some really good tips and tricks to get prepared for that big step, because it will be a big step. You'll get to know what the realities of university life are, the kind of differences between school and university. They really are. It really is a fantastic course in regard to that. Okay, so you can dip in and out of it. It's free for you to use, and it might give you a good idea as to what area of study you might want to go into, just for the undecideds in the house. Again, guys, we're kind of going back to the UCC journey again. So we have international experiences within a lot of our courses here at UCC. So what that means is that you would go away to a different country to study for a certain period of time. And this applies to lots of the courses within UCC. So you'll see a lot of lovely photographs here from different people from all over the world. So we have Japan, we have France, we have Boston, and they're just, it's great to see that our students get on so well abroad. Okay. Again, our societies, guys, we were chatting about it. We are really, really proud of our societies in terms of our giving back. Our charitable societies are just fantastic. Big tip is when you come to college, find your people within these societies with common interests. It's a fantastic way to make friends. Again, with our clubs, guys, you can see kind of just a summary of the list of clubs we have here at UCC. There's everything from mountaineering to taekwondo, table tennis, a camogie. There's something for everybody again within this. If you're a team sports person or if you're a solo sports person like me who likes to play a bit of badminton, there is something for everybody. Again, you'll have access to the Mardyke Gym and the UCC Sports Arena, okay? Finally here, guys, in terms of the sports side of things, we just have a few of our amazing sporting students. Some of them are Paralympians, some of them are Olympians themselves. There's European champions, there's world champions. So if you're from a sporting background at all, UCC is a place for you. And again, guys, I'm just going to have a look at our supports very quickly. So we have so many supports here at UCC for our students. Again, a big tip for me is that you have to reach out to people. There's always going to be someone that will help you. So we were chatting about things like your first year experience coordinator there, Nora Ndidi. She's a fantastic person to ask for help when you come here first. Then you have your student union, which is your government. Going on to student health and well-being. So we have a chaplaincy, you have mental health services, you have student help, you have student well-being. Then you have Access UCC. A lot of the Access support officers are here on the call, and they are fantastic if you have a disability and you need a bit of support, if you're a mature student, if you are looking for any budgeting advice. These are the people that you'll talk to, and a lot of them are actually on the call today. So if you have questions in relation to any of these things, ask them today, and you'll kind of get to know the name. Okay. Then again, guys, we have things like the library, you have your international office. Again, we have equality, diversity and inclusion. So you have loads of support. It's just, again, when I send you this, everything's hyperlinked. Everything will be kind of available to you at the click of a mouse, okay? Again, our career service is fantastic as well. So they'll help you kind of throughout your experience in UCC with things like subject choice or career reviews or interview advice and practice. They are a fantastic service too. And with scholarships, guys, so kind of throughout our postgrad and undergraduate cohorts, UCC offers up to 1,000 different scholarship opportunities. So if you are looking for any scholarships at all, these are just a few that might be applicable to you. So if you want to have a look at those, if you are Irish or international, there is a scholarship that might be applicable to you via ucc.ie/scholarships. Again, I'll send you on these slides. You can check it out afterwards. But if you have any questions, throw it in the Q&A box. In terms of the CAO, guys, you've probably gone through this process and you're in the middle of it now, and you're at that stage where you might be certain of what you want to do, or you might be kind of on the fence a little bit. So obviously, with you guys here, we have our Irish leaving certs. We also have our EU, EFTA and UK students, people who do QQI FET, people who do further education can apply for the CAO as well, mature students. Again, you've gone through that process. We won't dwell on it too much, but You would have also, the people on the call might have been applicable to apply for access routes, so higher education access routes there, so open to socioeconomic, not economically disadvantaged backgrounds, and there, okay, disability access support, education, okay? So it's just something to recap on. In terms of the dates, guys, kind of what's kind of important to you now is that you know that the CAO is closed for you right now. There are some exceptions, late exceptions for current undergrad students here are only okay. In terms of the late application date, it would have been the 1st of May. Change of mind is open at the moment. So again, if you're thinking of any course in UCC, go into the different colleges, ask your questions, see if UCC is for you, see if the courses are for you, okay? So your change of mind will close on the 1st of February, and then you get your round one. So will be open on the 28th of August from 2 o'clock onwards, and then your Leaving Cert results again will come in 5 days before that, okay? It's something to have a look at. There's kind of key dates document within the CAO. It's something I popped in the chat as well, so you kind of know when you might get your offer, okay? In terms of QQI students, again, you'll get it the same way. Mature students the same way too, okay? In terms of entry requirements for your Leaving Cert, you're probably all very well aware of them, but always good to kind of reiterate the minimum requirements. So again, that they're your matriculation requirements. So for all the programs at UCC, you'll need to obtain a grade H5 in 2 subjects, a minimum grade ordinary 6, H7 in the remaining 4 subjects, okay? So for all courses in UCC, this includes English and Irish, okay? A pass in Irish and 06 H7 in your Leaving Cert is required for admission to all courses in UCC. However, there is some exemptions, and it's something that you would have had to kind of maybe sort out with your school and submit as part of your CAO process, okay? Again, there's things to note here as well. They're kind of handy for you. So the bonus points for if you get your H6 or above in your higher level maths, so that's fantastic. So again, your LCVP can be counted for point scoring purposes only, but cannot be counted as one of the 6 subjects to satisfy minimum entry requirements. Keep that in mind. So other language, so in addition to English and Irish, there is a requirement for all programs at UCC with the exception of all programs in the College of Science, Engineering and Food Science, nursing programs and medical and health sciences. So keep that in mind too in terms of your 3rd language. So foundation maths, guys, is accepted for matriculation but does not meet the requirement for degree to where maths is a special program requirement. So points will not be awarded for this, okay? So foundation level Irish is not accepted for matriculation, so points are not awarded for the subject. Keep these in your mind. I know these are all practicalities, but they really are something to keep in your head. Okay, so they're your entry requirements again. So with your EU, EFTA, UK applications, guys, so if you're going through that route, you'll apply through the CAO as well. You know it very well. So it's like just like the Leaving Cert levers itself. So you'll find details about matriculation and course requirements, as well as your English language requirements on the website. So you probably have gone through that process at the moment. But again, this is your forum to ask questions just after this, okay? Again, guys, if you are outside of Europe, I know this is specifically for CAO students itself, you'll be applying through UCC Apply. So applications are open early December and close the end of May traditionally. So, and there's a €50 fee. Okay, so the entry requirements, guys. So applications for applications will be considered to the Irish Leaving Cert and will be considered on a case-by-case basis. For non-EU international admission, to undergraduate studies at UCC, our programs are categorized into 3 bands. So you consult the website for that. Again, the entry requirements section also explains Cambridge GCE, A-levels and international baccalaureate qualification requirements, okay? And then your English requirements are there. You're probably all very aware of them. It's just something to keep an eye on. Okay, so I'm going to play you a video just to go through. I know we're kind of running a bit over, but always good to have a look at the application process. So just give me a moment there, and I'll just pop this up for you.
Maggie?
Yes. So
I can't hear it. I'm not sure if I'm the only one because I can see people giving
okay,
reactions.
Sorry. Okay.
But I know that not everybody can.
Oh, sorry.
I see people giving thumbs up, so perhaps others can hear it. But
I can't hear it either,
Selena.
Danielle. So we might just maybe talk through it.
okay.
So yeah, I think I might just change the settings and we'll go again. I know it worked. I've been testing this a lot, guys. I'm sorry about that. But it's one of those things. I think we might be good with this.
Hi, my name is Fiona Grant and I work in the admissions office.
I can now hear it, but not see it.
Specifically for
Can't hear it, and your screen is not sharing either.
Okay, sorry.
Applications for 2024 accepted online through the CAO. Please visit the CAO website at www.cao.ie.
Okay, sorry, guys.
Application date the 1st of May. But please note.
Okay, you're in business now.
We're in. Okay.
Yeah.
University College. Hi, my name is Fiona Grant and I work in the admissions office, University College Cork. I'd like to welcome you here to our live Q&A. This is specifically for EU EFTA UK applicants. In the next few slides, I'm going to talk you through some key dates, the CAO process, key facts, and some useful links. We look forward to answering any queries that you may have. Applications for 2024 are now being accepted online through the CAO. Please visit the CAO website at www.cao.ie. The closing date is the 1st of February. However, we do have a late application date of the 1st of May, but please note restrictions will apply. We would ask all applicants to have a certified copy of their results submitted to the CAO at the very latest by late July. Round 1 offers are issued through the CAO to school leaving applicants, a date to be confirmed. But as a guideline, the offers were issued through the CAO in 2023 on the 30th of August. Start to college term is usually in September, and again as a guideline, they commenced on the 11th of September this year. University College Cork assesses all EU applications equally. Provisional offers cannot be made. What I'm referring to here is that we are aware in some EU countries you were issued your results in July. Unfortunately, the Irish Leaving Certificate results don't come out until late August, and as all EU offers, including those presenting with the Irish Leaving Certificate, are issued directly through the CAO, the offers are not made through the CAO until late August, early September. Please make sure that you submit your documentation on time so that we can carry out an assessment. There has been a huge increase in demand and points in recent years, and in fact, the number of applications received from EU applicants has quadrupled in the last 3 years. Offers are issued to eligible applicants until the offer season closes, or until all of the places have been filled, whichever comes first. So in some instances, we may just make offers in round 1 for a specific programme, and for other programmes, we may be able to make offers in subsequent rounds after round 1. These are just some key facts for all applicants. All applicants must meet the matriculation entry requirements, including the English language requirement, and you will find further information available on this on our website. Remember to place your course choices in genuine order of preference. Do not try to predict what points will be required and leave this to dictate where you put your choices. Put your choices in order of preference. Points are awarded based on grades achieved, and offers are made to eligible candidates based on points. Here are some useful links which may assist you with your application. We have the EFTA guide available both on the CAO website and on the UCC website. This document details entry requirements for EU students presenting with qualifications other than the Irish Leaving Certificate. Our undergraduate prospectus for 2024 is available on the UCC website. And finally, the CAO, www.cao.ie. You may have missed the initial closing date of the 1st of February, but you can still make an application up until the 1st of May. Some restrictions may apply. I hope you have found these slides useful, and we're here to answer any of your questions. After today, if you have any queries regarding our programs or entry requirements, they can be directed through our web inquiry form. The link is available here. Best of luck to you with your application, and we hope to see you in UCC.
Okay, so my name is Owen Fleming, and I'm director of a few postgraduate courses that
One second. Oh, I'm on mute. Last slide, I promise, guys. So if you have any queries that we can't answer today for you, or if you think about them later, get in touch with us on opendays@ucc.ie. Maybe jot it down in a little notepad and get back to us with any questions you might have after the call. But in terms of now, use the Q&A box and we will have a look at the questions, get you some answers, and we'll discuss some of the the more commonly asked questions, myself, Danielle and Lenka. And if you want to pop off to the different rooms, we have the today schedule pinned within the top of the Q&A section. Okay, so hopefully you can see it. So thanks very much for listening and have a good time exploring. Oh, finally that worked, Danielle.
It did. Thanks, Nikita. It was very informative. There's not so many questions in there, but there is a really good one around A-level results. So
okay.
I might address that one because that could impact a lot of people here today. So there's a question there about how will an application be assessed if the A-level result in July, if A-level results are not issued until August. So A-levels are a bit different from all of the other EU school leaving qualification, school leaving exams. As you'll have heard in the presentation there that Fiona did, we assess those in July. So if students are submitting an IB or a European Baccalaureate or a German Average or whatever it is, we assess all of those in July. But the A-levels are actually centrally evaluated in the same kind of way as the Leaving Cert is by CAO. So there is a process in place whereby CAO do receive most of the A-level results from the majority of A-level applicants, but not all, and they receive those when the A-level results are issued to the candidates themselves. So they'll get them automatically, so that we are actually not assessing A-level results
Okay, so that
in
goes
July.
through CAO
In the
itself.
same kind of way that Leaving Cert does, you know.
Brilliant, brilliant. Okay, very interesting. Okay, let's have a look and see what we have in the box here. Keisha.
So
Don't
there are
be
a couple of
shy.
yeah, Maggie, I'm just dialing here, as you can see from the side of the road. So yeah, there was just a question Marianne was asking about when will the results of the interview be known. So that's quite a specific question. We would have to ask you, Marianne, are you applying through the CAO as a Leaving Cert or an EU applicant, or are you in fact an international non-EU applicant? Some programs have interviews. It also depends if you're a mature student. So in order for us to answer that question, maybe we would need a little bit more detail. And if you want to discuss your individual situation, then as Maggie mentioned, to give us that email address or email us on that email address, opendays@ucc.ie, and we'll check that for you. Danielle, there's a couple of other questions there in the chat room. So we know, obviously, our Ukrainian students, families, and colleagues are expecting some news and announcements. So is there something that you can tell us a little bit about where we are and what we can all expect?
Well, I suppose Ukrainian students currently in Ireland and any students who've got temporary protection have all been advised since 2022 to apply for their undergraduate places through the CAO. You know, so that has been the advice we've been giving. So we understand that there are many applications already in with CAO from these students who've got temporary protection, whether they're Ukrainian or whether they came to Ireland from Ukraine, having, you know, whether nationality might be from somewhere else, but they still have temporary protection from Ukraine. So they're to apply through CAO. Hopefully that is already done because we're gone past the 1st of May. And these students will be assessed as for EU places as other EU students through CAO will be. So if they're presenting a Leaving Cert, they'll be centrally evaluated by CAO in August. If they're presenting another kind of school leaving exam, for example, from Ukraine, they'll be assessed through that process in July by the admissions office. And they'll be eligible to compete for EU places. But the big question that a lot of these students have is, what will the fees situation be for me in 2024? In 2022 and in 2023, there was a lot of special but temporary supports set up by the government. So these students who had temporary protection were eligible for what we call the Free Fees Initiative. You know, so our students don't have to pay the full tuition fee. Their fees are covered by the state. And some of them got extra funding similar to a SUSI grant, but not the same as a SUSI grant. But we don't know yet what the fees situation is going to be for these students in 2024. We anticipate that it might be different from the 2022 and 2023 setup, and we hope to know as soon as next week, but we don't know for definite yet. But I think suffice to say, we would advise to be prepared for it to be a bit different from the previous years. It might not be the same level of support, unfortunately, and that is a government decision. And we will, as I said, we'll hopefully know very, very soon, and we'll put clarity on our website as soon as we have it. And we'll write to guidance counsellors as well, I suppose, and let them know.
Yeah, thank you, Danielle. And also for anybody from Ukraine, if you Google UCC and Ukraine, then on the Google search, you will get access a link to our website, and Danielle and her team, as soon as we have the update from our own registrar and the government, most importantly, we will update the website. So maybe Maggie, we included also into the presentation that we'll be sending to all people that participated. And just to add, some of the guys looking now to see how to get into ask questions about accommodation or medicine and health. So maybe let's just reiterate ucc.ie/open day, and that website opens up the schedule, and you will see that each of the rooms has a little more button, and when you click on it, it should bring you into the appropriate teams, whether it's for accommodation, they have their own teams meeting, or college and medicine and health, business and law. Then separately we have STEM and then arts as well. So hopefully that's working okay for people. I saw another question that a student was asking. They have heard that last year we were using kind of a peer-to-peer platform for our international students. So again, it depends who this student is, from which country, and that is true. Last year UCC had kind of an online app where students from non-EU countries were chatting to each other. So currently we do not have that platform anymore. But again, if you have any questions about student life or anything like that, you can utilize the open days at ucc.ie. Email us and we'll put you together with the either the student in that course or the course coordinator or somebody from the international office, depending on what type of an applicant you are. Maggie, then there was another question. I'm not sure if Kian is around regarding Susie.
He is, but I think it's an interesting one for the participants to hear. So with Katrina, she was asking, can you apply for a Susie grant every year or just only the once? So Keen says here, hey Katrina, you can make your initial application now at Susie.ie. Once you finish your first academic year and you continue in your progress and your progression, you will be asked to renew your application. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch with me. So Cian is our student budgetary advisor, and he'll help you with all things money. And so you can get in touch with him at studentbudgetingadvice@ucc.ie. So that's really, really good to know. Okay, so every year it's kind of a different year. Okay. What else do we have here? So just having a look.
There are a couple of questions about specific entry requirements for students in different countries and so on. So maybe that is something, Danielle, we might have a look at with your team. But one of the questions as well that was there that is pertinent to everyone. Sorry, and it's after leaving my mind now. A second. Where is that question? Maybe one of them, how to apply for a secondary teaching course. So is that something, Danielle, that you can cover, the type of courses that we have? And I tee up the next question.
Sure. So there are a number of degrees that we offer in UCC, which would qualify you as a teacher of 2 subjects ordinarily. So there is B.Ed Gaeilge, Education Gaeilge, that's CK124. And that is an Irish teaching degree. So if you wish to become a secondary school teacher in Irish, as well as one other subject that you can pick in first year, that is the degree for you. And there's also physical education, sports studies and arts. That's a PE teaching degree. So students coming out of that degree are qualified secondary school teachers in PE, as well as one other subject. We've got science education.
Science, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big one. So that is, again, qualifies students to teach 2 science subjects in secondary school. And there are 5 streams. So students, when they're registering in first year, pick one of these 5 streams, which is basically picking which 2 subjects you want to teach. So the 5 streams are chemistry and maths, chemistry and computer science, physics and
Chemistry. Oh,
Thank
so
you,
you
Maggie.
have to, 1 second now. Is there a stream for this? So again, you would be more, let me have a look at it a second.
So biology and chemistry and maths, chemistry and computer science, maths and computer science, and physics and chemistry, I believe, are the 5.
Yes, yeah.
There's one option to do biology, one option to do physics, I think, and then the others are chemistry and maths. So there's 5 different options for students to take. And so that they're the kind of straightforward, you know, if you definitely want to be a secondary school teacher and you know that one or a combination of the subject suits you, great. But, you know, probably where the majority of our teachers have gone through is they do a degree in something else. They do a degree in arts, or a degree in business, or a degree in science, and then they finish the degree and then they go on and do the PME, which is the Master's in Education, to get the teaching part. So students first kind of do their degree, and they kind of might cover what would be sufficient for 2 subjects, whether they're in an arts degree and maybe they're doing, I don't know, economics and English, or language and something else. Or they might do a business degree, and so then they do the PME and they might qualify as a business studies and accounting teacher, and so on. So there's a few different ways to become a secondary school teacher. There's the straight from school, or there's the delay by 3 to 4 years. There's also a relatively new program, which is offered by MTU, Business Studies and Home Economics. And that teaching piece is delivered by UCC, so it's like a joint degree. But you apply to MTU, so the code in CAO is MT something something something. I'm not sure what the 3 digits are, but it's Home Economics and Business.
Yeah, it's worth a quick Google if you're interested, guys, just to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's something that's coming down the line. Is there's a primary school's Masters in Education coming down the line as well, isn't there? Is that coming in next year?
2025.
2025. That's
Okay.
cool.
Yeah.
So it's something to
Yeah.
kind of
But
keep in mind, guys.
there was just another course, a new course that we can mention, and there was a question around the driving license. So Danielle, is it okay to check with you on paramedicine and
Yeah,
talk a
of
little
course,
bit
I saw
about
that. I
it
saw
and the
that question,
requirements?
so
Yeah,
yeah,
thank
wanted
you.
to address it as well. So paramedicine is new program, which will have a school leaving entry this year. So we have run this program for a number of years, but it's been direct entry. It's kind of aimed at, I suppose, more mature applicants, and it's not necessarily kind of a full-time on-campus degree like all the other programs that school leaving cohorts would be applying to. It's a bit different. So now the new paramedicine program is a 4-year degree. Students are based in UCC on a full-time basis, but with lots and lots of practical experience, work experience, on the job experience, starting in first year, I believe. It has kind of fairly straightforward entry requirements in terms of, they align well with the rest of the entry requirements for medicine and health. Off the top of my head, I'm not going to try and remember them, but that's part of what your research should be anyway. Like instead of myself and Maggie trying to scramble for the entry requirements, everybody here who's interested in the program, this is a really good starting place for you to go and find out what are the entry requirements for each of the programs you're applying to. But the question I know is about the driver's license. You do not need a driver's license before first year. You do need a driver's license before your work experience in third year, but it's not an entry requirement in UCC. So if you don't have it now, don't worry, don't stress about it. Concentrate on the leaving cert, get the next few months out of the way. But over the next few years, if you do get offered your place, it will be your responsibility to go and get your C1 driver's license before you go on your third year placement, or you won't be able to go on your third year placement. So it is important, it will be important, but you'll be supported along the way to get that. And we have no doubt that you'll be well able to get it. either once you're in the
Exactly.
program. You'll be very motivated to do that as well, because it will be such an exciting opportunity for you.
Yeah, guys, a top tip really, like what Danielle said about research is so important. Our course pages have absolutely everything you need to know about a course. It goes through the points range, what your actual qualification will be, down to the course coordinator, the person who runs the course, that you can get in contact and ask them different questions. Like, now is the time to really go in depth with your research. Look at your modules. Your modules are your subjects that you'll be taking from year 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure you like it. Put things side by side. Check to see if you like the different subjects in A compared to B, pros and cons. It's now the time to really go deep with your research, and the course page is where it's at. Okay.
And you
goes
have lots of time before the 1st of July. You know, the 2nd of July, I know that you're concentrating your Leaving Cert now, and would totally understand that. But the 2nd of July is just too late to make changes. Sorry, Lenka, I interrupted
Yeah,
you.
and I was actually gonna just say, Danielle, you know, to say we see that every year. And one of the questions in the Q&A was, you know, will me changing the course preferences now mess up something? And again, that's what we are just trying to say. It won't mess up anything for you unless you were asking for a restricted course that had a performance or an interview. But as Danielle said right now, you have until the 1st of July. Put it in the genuine order of preference. What is it that you want to do, what you study? You put that first, kind of regardless of points. And maybe, Danielle, can I just ask you that maybe somebody may not be so familiar, but how are actually the CAO points calculated? You know, the questions that we are getting every year is, will the points go up or down? So is there something that you can just chime in on that here?
Yeah, sure, of course. And I might just add a few bits in as well about the preference list and how important it is to that. So the points for programs are not decided by anybody in UCC or in CAO or anything like that. So what happens is Leaving Cert candidates, obviously, they sit their Leaving Cert, they get their grades. Okay, so you sit your 6 or 7 subjects or more maybe, and you get your grades from that. So you get your H1, H2, O4, O5 for all of your subjects. And each of those grades matches a set of points. So for your H1, you get 100 points. For your H2, you get however many points. And then, as you know, you calculate your points, your total point score, by adding your best 6 together. Okay. And CAO actually does that piece. So CAO don't decide points or entry requirements or anything like that. They just take all of the information from the State Examinations Commission, who set the papers and who mark the papers, and who are responsible for making sure that all the Leaving Cert students get their grades. They also transfer that information to CAO, and CAO do a calculation. So they know how many points everybody has. And they also know what the entry requirements are for every program. So if we have a program, let's just say we have a program and there are 50 places on this program, and let's just say I've got 65 applicants for the program. They all want a place, regardless of whether they have it as 1st or 7th or 10th preferences. They're all eligible. They've met the entry requirements. So remember, Maggie was talking about the subjects earlier. So they have the English, the Irish if they're not exempt, the maths if it's requirements, the H3 and maths if that's a requirement, or the science subjects if they need those. So I have a program and it's got its entry requirements, and I've got 65 candidates, but I've only got 50 places to give. So the CAO send me a list of all the applicants in order of points, and the highest points is at the top of the list. So the applicant with the highest points sits at the top of the list, and the next applicant with the next highest points is sitting under them, and the list goes down. And the last person, the person number 65 on the list, is person number 65 because they've got the lowest points. It has nothing to do with their preference or their name or anything like that. And I say I've got 50 places, so basically the 50th person on the list, whatever points they have, that's the cutoff points. So I'm not really deciding points. There's nobody in the admissions office deciding on points, or in the university or in the CAO or anywhere really deciding on the points for a program. The points are determined by how well all of the applicants for that program have done. So that's how that works. It's a huge number of applicants, like there's tens of thousands of applicants for about 4,000 programs or something like that, that are in the CAO. And that's why the rules are so strict, you know, in terms of it's for the 1st of July is the cutoff date, not the 1st of July at 6 p.m., but the 1st of July at, I think it's 5 p.m. or 5:15? But it's not a minute later. It's absolutely then. Because of the tens of thousands, if they were started to let a little bit of leeway here and there, you know, it would never settle. And we'd never know exactly who wants what. And same with you know, how the points are calculated and all of that. It's all very strict and rigid so that we can keep it transparent and people can, I know it's difficult to understand, but it is the fairest way of working the system. So the other thing I want to talk about is the preference list. Oh yeah, that's the other thing we're very strict about. You know, there's a lot of emphasis, and anyone here who's in school in Ireland will have heard this from the guidance counselors and teachers and students in the years ahead of them. You know, you've got to put your list in order of preference. So for those of you who are outside of Ireland, you might not be so familiar with this piece, but it is just so important. And I don't think we can emphasize it enough, can we, Lenka and Maggie? It's just so important. So you can only go, so it must be a preference list, and you have to put on the top of the list what you want the most. And what you want the second most is second and third most is third. And if you have all 10 filled up, it has to go all the way in that order from 1 to 10. And it doesn't matter if you get the highest number of points ever awarded to anybody in the whole world. If you're offered your first choice on the list, which you will be if you've got the highest number of points ever that anybody ever achieved, you'll be offered your first preference unless you're missing a subject somehow, which is unlikely. You'll never be offered that second choice on your list. Okay, so it won't be an option for you. So that's why the preferences must be right. We'll do everything we can at our end to try and give everybody the highest preference possible they have with the points that they've achieved. All right. So regardless of what happens, and listen, you know, lots of things happen that are beyond a student's control, and they're really exceptional circumstances. And we sympathize very much, you know, when these things come up, but we can't bend that rule for anybody. So it's really, really important that you're happy with your preference list before the 1st of July, because there's no changing it.
Yeah, maybe if I can demonstrate it by kind of an example. When you look at our course pages on the website, you will see that we are listing the CAO points, but we are also listing the range. So if you look at CK 101, which is our arts degree, you can see it will say from 300 to 625 points. And basically what that means is that, as Danielle described it, we admit quite a large group of students into this course, several hundreds of students, because they have a choice of 40 different subjects. But the last person that was admitted basically came in with the 300 points. And what we do see is whether the quality of a course, it's not decided by the number of the points, because the arts degree is just as fine degree and perfect for you as for somebody is medicine and so on. Because as you can see, we have students who have achieved the highest number of points, the 625. But what we do see sometimes is that people may love to have put arts first, CK 101. Maybe they always wanted to do music and history and so on, but then, or they just wanted to do geography and history, but then they succumb to a peer pressure, and on the 1st of July, they panic and they put in, I don't know, engineering first and then arts second, or they, you know, or the other way around because they feel they may not get enough points. And then when the points are awarded, when you get your Leaving Cert results, and you put engineering first because you thought you never get the points for engineering anyway, but you put it first. Suddenly you do so well in your Leaving Cert and you get the points, and then you are going to be offered engineering. And, you know, it's an engineering in another university. And therefore, we cannot ever offer you arts in UCC if it's your second preference, even though if it had less points and so on, because you basically, you know, put that course second. So it's really important that you think it through, but don't over engineer it, or don't try to beat the system, because as Danielle explained, you really have to put in first what you really want to do, because there's not always an option than to get your second or third choice. That's not how it works. So I hope I didn't confuse anybody. But again, and thank you for sharing the screen. I think that kind of illustrates in the yellow boxes all the different points or the points ranges. And we are putting them there for a reason, sometimes for a parent as well. And in this prospectus that is being currently shared, you see the points ranges there as well. You also see how many people we take into each course, and how many places we are dedicating to mature students, and how many places are there for QQI FET college places. So again, that's another important point. We have Damien and other colleagues here even on the call who look after mature students, students from the PLCs, FET, QQI colleges, and there is also route to our courses, you know, through that. So I'm just gonna stop talking. I go on mute and off camera, and I check if we have any more questions. Maybe Maggie, there is some other questions. There was one maybe about accommodation. So again, just to reiterate that Kate is in the accommodation booth.
I've sent them over Kate's way. But in terms of this guide, guys, it's in the Q&A box as well, but I'll pop it in the group again. It's so handy to see kind of everything at a glance. In terms of the number of places that you get for mature or further education. But again, guys, the information that you have in terms of your minimum requirements, again, if you're not hitting a minimum requirement, it's something that can mess up a CAO as well. Is that right, Danielle? If you've gone for a place, but you're not hitting a minimum requirement, it's going to mess up a CAO option. Some people can get confused. So it's good to have everything at a glance here. So I'll send this on to you guys, and you can see what the minimum requirements are, especially for things like, let's say, for instance, if you're going for something like medicine, if it's for next year, you have to have chemistry. Chemistry is a given, you have to have it. And then you can do either or physics or biology. So you have to have chemistry, physics, or biology. Okay, so it's something to keep in your head, because it can be quite confusing for school leavers in terms of their minimum requirements. But again, we're talking about how points are different. That's supply and demand question. With arts, guys, like this, we have something like 600 places within our arts courses, so it's our biggest course by a mile. So you can see perhaps why the points are a little bit more reasonable for that. And then you're looking at something like social work there, that's 25 places. That's for matures only. Where let's say we go down and we'd have a look at theatre and performative practices there. There are 25 places. So some courses are really restricted in the number of places that are available as well. So it's that again, that supply and demand element. Then again, which is super duper handy within this, you'll see whether you can go away on an international pathway on an Erasmus. The O, guys, is optional, the C is compulsory, so it's great to have a look at whether you can go off and study abroad or not. Then again, there's work placement opportunities with lots of the courses, like 90% of the courses we have in UCC have an optional work placement attached to it. And then you see your duration. Some durations of courses might vary depending on whether you go on and do work experience or you go on and do an international pathway. So again, investigating course pages, which are all here. When I send you on this link, you'll open it and everything is interactive, okay? So you can go in and check out all the course pages there, okay? And the points range is there. Again, with arts, You have your groups, what you can pick for your first year, again with things like arts, music, what kind of subjects can you pick and do with arts or with music. You can see it all there. And like Danielle was talking about with PE teaching, for instance, what other subject can you teach with PE along the way? You can see all the information is down here. So you teach your PE and English or French or Irish or history or maths. So it's all kind of, it's a one-stop shop, this little guide, and it's so handy. So you'll see all the colleges here: business, law, medicine and health, and sciences. Okay, all the sciences are here. And again, with a lot of the science, engineering and food science courses, you'll do a kind of a common year where you will study a lot of different subjects within that degree, and you'll specialize after year 1 or year 2, depending on what you do. So it's all kind of explained to you at a glance here, and then it's the perfect place to start doing your kind of your in-depth research, because you have all the URLs, it links to everything that you need to know, and it is really a fantastic resource. So I'll pop that in the chat now and I'll stop talking, and Danielle, you can chat away.
Well, there's a question there about second round offers I might talk through.
Great.
So is it possible to get an offer in a second round because of refusals from people accepted in the first round? So round 1 offers will go out, say, on a Wednesday, and they have about just under a week to come back. And yes, a number of students from round 1 will not accept their offers for whatever reason. Sorry, my phone is about to start ringing, so I'll just turn that down. So a number of students will refuse their places for whatever reason. And yeah, that's what we do. We then go and offer, make more offers in round 2, and they will go out to the students who are next on the waiting list. So again, like the process I talked us through before, again, we'll have lists in order of points, with the highest at the top and the lowest at the bottom. And if I have 5 places left to fill in a program, I'll go down to the number 5 on the list, and that will be the new cutoff points, the round 2 cutoff points for that program. But we try to fill all our programs in round 1. It's much better for students to get the earlier they get the offer, the earlier they can start making plans and moving to Cork and getting everything done, and participating fully in the orientation, which starts before, the orientation week is the week before lectures commence for first years. And yeah, so it's better for you as incoming students to get those offers earlier. So we endeavor to fill as much as we can in round 1, but not possible to 100% fill. So there will be some offers in round 2, but we don't know when. We do know when, but we don't know how many, and we don't know which programs will have round 2 offers until quite late before they go out. So because students have a nearly a week to offer or to accept or not their round 1 offer, it doesn't leave us very much time. So we're often stuck, when people are calling about round 2 offers, and we're often not able to let them know if a round 2 offer is going to be going out or not until quite late, which isn't ideal. I totally appreciate that, but it's just that's the time frame that we're working in kind of doesn't allow us to provide. But sometimes we are able to say we definitely know there will be no round 2 offers because a program is maybe way oversubscribed or something like that. So I thought that was a good question that I'd be able to answer.
Can I ask you a question, just as I'm thinking now?
Yeah.
So let's say I'm doing my Leaving Cert, and I have given in my scripts to be re-corrected, and I get my points for my particular course. So I get commerce, but I don't get law, for instance. How would something like that work, Danielle?
So when you say you get commerce but you don't get law, do you...
So my top priority was to get law. I didn't get the points for law. I was 10 marks off of getting law, but I got commerce, and that's okay. But I got my scripts rechecked. I've now hit the points for something like law?
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Is that something like a case-by-case basis, I
So
presume?
everyone will be able to apply for a recheck of their
Mhm.
scripts after having viewed them, after the results are issued. Obviously, you can't check for a recheck before you get your results.
Gotcha.
You can then view your script and look at it, and you can decide then whether you think it's worth your while submitting an application for a recheck. So that kind of happens like immediately, both like it happens much too close to round one for anything to happen in round one, or indeed round 2, 3, or 4, because that has to go back to the State Examinations Commission, and all the markers that they have retained for the recheck period have to then recheck all of the papers, issue the new grades to CAO. They have to do the points, and we have to have a look at where all those students would be had they received the correct, if their grades are changed. So not everybody who applies for recheck gets a recheck. And
exactly.
actually, some students do get a recheck, and they do get a new a higher grade, but their higher grade doesn't bring them into a higher points bracket.
Gotcha.
So their points actually don't change at all. And sometimes their points might change, but they're still not in line for a new offer.
Of course they want.
Yeah.
Perfect.
But that all has to be figured out. So there's lots of things to figure
Gotcha.
out. So it takes a good number of weeks. So usually it's round 5 in October before we can make the offers to the recheck students. We endeavour in UCC to ensure that anybody who should have had an offer in round 1 gets their offer in round 5. We do our best, but it's not always possible, because a lot of those places are actually for very high demand programs, which fill very early and very quickly. There's very little movement on some of them, and there also happen to be the programs which are very strict on quotas, often, not always, but often. So we can't always
you can't guarantee.
We certainly can't guarantee. We do our absolute best, and actually we have a very, very good track record in UCC of getting those students in, or giving them the option to come in. Probably the best in the country at doing that, you know, at not deferring offers. But if we absolutely have to, we will defer an offer to the following year. So you will get your place. There's just a small chance that you may have to wait for 12 months, and we do our best to avoid that. And sometimes students actually, they get their recheck and they get their first preference offer, and we can give it to them that year, but actually they've had 3 weeks in the other program, which was their second preference or third preference or whatever it might have been, and they're actually quite happy to stay there. That happens a lot. Yeah,
I can imagine. I know a couple of people it's happened to.
Yeah.
So
Right,
it's where they had to defer, or they've got the place 5 weeks. So you have taken great care of those students, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. If I can ask you another tricky one, and again, you know, I just want to thank everybody who's still hanging on the call with us, because these are the kind of questions that sometimes are hard to explain, and it's on case-by-case basis. But whoever is still on the call and listening to us, you can see we all work very closely together in UCC, and we really try to, according to all the rules of the CAO and all that, but we do watch out for you, and where it is possible to allocate places, we absolutely do, because we don't want people to defer in the first 3 weeks. As well as Maggie mentioned, we have Noreen Didi, our first year coordinator, who can, you know, chat to you if you're just having second thoughts about the course that you are in. But one tricky question I wanted to ask you, actually, Danielle, was about that little asterisk. You know, sometimes we have that asterisk next to points. So if we can just mention that to people, and more in relation that we try to avoid it at all costs, but just to explain it, that, you know, how that actually happens.
Yeah. So the asterisk is, you mean random selection, Lenka, that's what you're referring to, isn't it? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So
Maggie is probably just bringing up that one, just one course where it happened as an illustration. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't. My glasses aren't strong enough to see, but...
So pharmacy.
Oh yeah, pharmacy. Great. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you remember earlier when I was describing my program that had 50 places and I had 65 applicants? And in the scenario I gave you earlier, everybody had a different point span, so everything worked out very cleanly. And that is what happens in most cases. The person number 49 and person number 50 and person number 51 all have different points. So when I say I'm just going to offer these 50 people and the 50th person's points cut off, it's kind of it seems kind of harsh for person number 51, of course, and I understand that, but they will get an offer elsewhere. It's very highly likely. So, but it's kind of clean. There isn't you know, there aren't two people on the same points in that lovely example I gave earlier. But what sometimes happens, especially the higher the points are, so the closer you get to 600 and beyond 600, this tends to happen maybe a bit more frequently. I'll get to person number 48 on my list, where I have 50 places to give, but person number 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, and 54, they all have the same points. They've all ended up with exactly the same points. And I know I can't make 54 I can't give away 54 places. I don't have them. We won't have 54 placements for those students, for example. That might be the issue. That is often the issue. And there's a few other factors, but often the big one is like we won't be able to give them placements, and how, you know, that won't be a right student experience for them. But the first thing I'll do is I'll get on to the head of the school. So the very first thing I'll do is I'll get on to the head of school and I'll say, do you think we could stretch it to the 54 just for this year? Sometimes they say, you know what, I think we can, let's do it. And sometimes we talk about it for a very long time and there's just really no way we can do it. And it's really unfortunate. But what we have to do then is go to random selection. And that means I say, we might decide together that we'll make 52. You know, we'll try and get as many of the offers in, or 51. So we decide on whatever number the maximum that we can actually really do, without putting all of the other students at risk. And we'll make that number of offers. And it means there's a few people left on the points band of the cutoff points who haven't been made an offer. And obviously, those are the first places I look to in round 2 and round 3 and round 4. I'm trying to clear those random selection lists as much as I possibly can. So we do our best to avoid it, and we do relatively well at that. But sometimes it is just completely unavoidable, unfortunately.
Yeah, thank you. Maggie, do we have any more questions in the Q&A?
Righty. Oh, so is the admissions office open in June to pop in with questions? We'll be visiting UCC and would love some information. So thank you. I was just saying to this anonymous user that they can pop us an email at opendays@ucc.ie and we'll see what we can do. Is that fair enough, Danielle?
Yeah,
I can always chat to them about UCC, and we can try and set up a tour if you're around a Wednesday, and we can kind of go from there. Again, kind of case by
and
case.
Just to remind everyone, we have the prospective student tour every Wednesday and every Saturday at 3 o'clock. So that's another option. If you're ever in Cork at the loose end at 3 o'clock on a Wednesday or a Saturday, there are tours that happen with our colleagues from the visitor center, and often they are led by our students. So again, they can give you a little bit of an insight. And as Maggie said, if we can facilitate your visit, we can. Obviously, we welcome you more in groups, whether it's a school trip. And again, let's plug in, our open day is always the second Saturday in October. So that is the time to come visit UCC, meet all the students, staff, and so on. So that would be, again, this year, the second Saturday
There is
in
a lot of students that have registered that aren't going through the CAO process this year. It's for interest for next year. So it's the 12th of October this year, and it's going to be on all day. It's the 12th of October, isn't it? Hold on now. I'm just going to double check it.
I think it is the second Saturday. Yeah.
Can I just say, like, for anyone wishing to come to the admissions office to talk about, you know, entry requirements and what subjects do I need and what points will I need, like, it's really much better for you to send us that query through the web form, which I think one of my colleagues has linked to in the chat there in response to the question that was asked, because it's it's kind of dense information, and it takes a lot to give verbally. And you know, if it's better for you to have it all written down in an email, you can refer back to it. You can see the links that we might send you through that, or you know, exactly how we might calculate your particular set of grades if you're applying as an EU applicant outside the Leaving Cert or A levels. Where it's kind of trickier, you know, we understand it's trickier, but those sort of questions are best posed, I think, by you in its kind of a digital form. So that the query form is a great way to submit that to us. And we're very happy to take you through that in any kind of detail. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Lenka.
Yeah, exactly. No, and I was just going to add to it, you know, anybody that has the Leaving Cert points and that goes through the machine of the system, that's kind of a little bit simpler. Many of you here on the call today are here exactly because your particular situation, you know, you have maybe foreign like Leaving Cert equivalents, or some of you are actually applying to us as international non-EU students. So anybody with offers and acceptance will be holding a special webinars like this, just for the undergraduate international applicants. And similarly, we are holding sessions for the postgraduate applicants. So again, the form that Nikita put into the chat as well for prospective students, you know, that's your kind of a port of call to ask anything that you are curious about, or you can email us at opendays@ucc.ie. And anyone who has been registered for this webinar, Maggie will forward our slides to, and you'll have our details. So
100%.
I wonder, if we don't have any more questions written in the live Q&A, shall we start thinking about wrapping it up or seeing how people are doing in the other booths?
I think we're good. We could wrap up here, and I'll keep an eye on the rooms, see how they're getting on.
Yeah.
But
can I just add one thing to that? So sometimes a question that we often get in the admissions office is if we could link somebody up with an academic member of staff attached to a program, especially when people do arrive. You know, they have a lot of questions that we can't necessarily answer about the substantive material of the course. So there are contact details on the online course pages for every single program, aren't there, Lenka? There is somebody attached to every single one, and if you wish to contact, if you wish to speak with them,
I'll share what it looks like, because it's something I share when I go out to schools, guys. It's something I always kind of reiterate, that there's always somebody to chat to, especially if it's the finer, minute details of courses. So let's say for criminology here, we've got Dr. John O'Brien, and he's the course coordinator. So he's the person to contact about the course. You can make a quick query. It's literally you're popping in your email, your nationality, have you already made an application, whatever it might be. It could be just a general query. They'll get back to you, and they will answer any of the questions that you have specifically on the course. It's something that I've done. I had my nieces up and they were in TY, and I reached out to a lot of the course coordinators, and they were nothing but wonderful. They met us via Teams for coffee, let us go to different taster lectures. They were just wonderful, and I can't say anything nicer about them. And they all got back to me. So I always say to students, you don't ask, you don't get anything in return. So reach out and see how you get on. So I think that's us, guys. I'd say we'll leave you go for the evening. But again, if you want to get in contact with us, opendays@ucc.ie for queries. And I hope to see most of you, if not all of you, here next year, the year after, or the year after that. And thank you very much.